Let's take a look at data mining applications in banking. Card marketing, okay, credit card marketing. By identifying customer segments, card issuers and acquirers can improve profitability with more effective acquisition and retention programs. Right? When they're going ahead trying to acquire customers, they can identify specific segments and certain segments within the overall customer picture who are most likely to pay back, who are most likely to default, who are most likely to keep large balances and pay interest. And then they can go, and they can also target, they can have targeted product development and customized pricing. Cardholder pricing and profitability. Card issuers can take advantage of data mining technology to price their products so as to maximize profits and minimize loss of customers. Obviously, it'll include risk-based pricing. Fraud detection. Okay, credit card fraud is a big, that's a big cost for them. By analyzing trends in past transactions that were determined to be fraudulent, banks can identify patterns. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Frank Abagnale Jr., the famous checking fraud con artist who now works for the FBI. Basically what's happening is that the feds are taking data from the way checks were cashed fraudulently and applying that to fraud detection. So the same thing with data mining. They'll put all that information in a database. Every time a credit card is swiped fraudulently, every time a check is cashed fraudulently, they go and put the characteristics of that transaction in a database, and then with data mining, they'll be able to identify patterns and trends to cut the losses due to fraud. In addition, data mining and banking will help predictive lifecycle management. Data mining will help banks predict each customer's lifetime value and to serve each segment appropriately. For example, offering special deals and discounts. Now let's take a look at how data mining is applied in the telecom sector. Call detail record analysis. Telecom companies accumulate detailed call records, right? They'll have records of how many international calls were placed. They'll have records of how many local calls were placed. They'll have records of how many calls were placed during peak time hours, during nighttime hours. Using that data, they can identify customer segments with similar patterns, and then the companies can develop attractive pricing and feature promotions. Customer loyalty. Some customers repeatedly switch providers, or what's known as churn, to take advantage of attractive incentives by competing companies. The companies can use data mining to identify the characteristics of customers who are likely to remain loyal once they switch, thus enabling the companies to target most of their marketing expense, to target most of their infrastructure expense on customers who will produce the most profit. If Sprint knows that Verizon is going to be coming out with a promotion, okay, and they know that they've identified 30% of their customers who basically just go from company to company based on promotions, okay? One thing they might be able to do is enforce their when you drop the contract of a cell phone, right? The termination fee. If they've identified that customers with a higher termination fee are less likely to churn, that's one way they might be able to compete with Verizon's new offer, right? Say Sprint has access. Sprint has an exclusive deal with Apple to market the iPhone. Okay, and now Verizon has identified customers that are likely to switch anytime a new phone is offered. Okay, Verizon might go ahead and try to negotiate a deal with Apple to be able to get exclusivity on a different phone and keep the customers. Data mining applications and other applications, just general. Okay, it's used for customer segmentation. All industries, and whether they're for-profit or non-profit, can take advantage of data mining to discover discrete segments in their customer bases by considering additional variables beyond traditional analysis. Manufacturing. Through choice boards, manufacturers are starting to customize products for customers. Now, in order to minimize their losses, they have to be able to predict which features should be bundled to meet customer demand. Warranties. If every time a customer buys something that has a life expectancy of a year, that product comes with a warranty, full replacement. If a company knows that every single one of their customers is likely to submit their warranty, they're pretty much guaranteed that they'll be out of business because they'll never make a profit. Because every product that they sell will have to be reimbursed, will have to be refunded at the end of the year. What they may do is provide a warranty for 50%. If they know that only 50% of their customers will ask for a refund at the end of the year, they might provide a warranty of 75% coverage and leave them with 25% profit. Frequent flyer incentives. Airlines can identify groups of customers that can be given incentives to fly more. Let's take a look at how data mining is applied in customer relationship management, customer life cycle. The stages in the relationship between a customer and a business. Right? First, the customer tries out the business, not sure they like it. They start buying more products, and finally, they're loyal customers. Key stages in the customer life cycle. With data mining, we'd be able to target prospects, people who are not yet customers, but are in the target market. Responders, prospects who show an interest in a product or service. Active customers, people who are currently using the product or service. Former customers, they might be bad customers who just didn't pay their bills or incurred high costs. The bottom line is, it's important to know life cycle events. For example, retirement. Now, what are marketers looking for when applying data mining? They're looking for increasing customer revenue and customer profitability. Whether that's in the form of upsell, cross-sell, or keeping the customers for a longer period of time. The solution would be to apply data mining. Data mining will help determine the behavior surrounding a particular life cycle event. In addition, it will help find other people in similar life stages and determine which customers are following similar behavior patterns. It's basically a three-step process. First, we have the data warehouse. The data warehouse will contain the customer profile. The data mining will categorize the customer profile, and we'll take a look in a minute at how it's done. It will categorize the customer profile based on customer lifecycle info. Based on those categories, we go and manage our campaigns.